This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. A participant in nearly 700 PGA Tour events. 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That's Jay Delsing. We're presented by Doherty Business Solutions. This edition of Golf with Jay Delsing, it's a Masters recap, and there's a ton to look back on as Jon Rahm captured the green jacket. Also in studio, our guest coming up will be Adam Betz, the owner and proprietor of Family Golf and Learning Center in Kirkwood. As we always do, I say hello to my partner, Jay Delsing. Jay Bird, the 87th Masters has come and gone. Jon Rahm wins it. Your initial takeaways from the Masters?
First of all, is there a better Sunday?
No.
Danny.
Better back 9?
Oh, man. The last 2 hours, I'm just locked and loaded. I got food. I got my butt securely, entrenched into my couch. It was just fantastic. And, I knew Jon Rahm would be a Masters champion one time or another, but to see Brooks kind of fade and it's really had nothing his last 36 holes. And then to see Phil Mickelson, I mean, let me ask you this. Bigger story that Rahm won or Phil shoots 31 on the closing 9, 8 under par, solo second at 52 years old?
I think it is because you look at it, Rahm's 28.
Yeah.
And Phil is 50 plus.
Yeah.
So to me, it's Phil, and it shows that he still, after all this time, after all the controversy, he still moves the needle, period.
Yeah, great. Just so much talent, Danny, so much talent.
So he's dropped 25 pounds. He looks different, and he said Augusta is a, quote, spiritual experience. If you love golf, you love the Masters, that sums it all up. So to me, when I was watching some of the LIV players, but in particular Phil Mickelson, I just thought he got a charge from being at Augusta and looking at what the crowds brought to that event. I mean, those guys were charged up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes back to our Gary McCord interview that we did on Beyond the Fairways a couple weeks ago, and talking about how no one's seen him in Scottsdale area. Nobody know, and then to see him handle his interviews so differently. Denny, it's like he's a shell of his old self. And I'm not, now I'm wondering, was the old self bad and this is good?
Yeah.
I don't know where we are with that, but what I love is the game and what you post can do all the talking for you. And my hat's off to him. Listen, what a great back 9, and it added so much drama.
So I thought Jon Rahm, let's go back to him and some of the individuals, steady through tough conditions all weekend. They were very, very tough outside of the first round. But he shows that he has another gear to me. And when he gets it going, you better watch out.
He does. He's so strong, Danny. He is, besides that, he is a huge man. His quads, his back, his rear end, he is solid through the middle. He's got a very short, very powerful swing. But to your point, he had different gears, and you could see him almost leaving Brooks Koepka in the dust, which is really odd.
I was going to ask you that because Koepka leads the Masters for the better part of 4 days, and it's rare when we don't see him close out a major. So what did you see with him, especially down the stretch in day number 4 on that Sunday?
Couple things. First of all, Brooks got a huge benefit from the tee times. He had a massive benefit, and our buddy and poor Tiger Woods got the worst end of it.
And we'll get into that in a moment.
Right. So that was one thing. But secondly, it makes you wonder, here's a guy that's been battling both knees, which came to light this week at Augusta, which I thought was really interesting. And so you look at going to LIV, the less amount of golf, maybe more time to rehab and take care of your body. And I think that helped. But Danny, I still think playing 3 rounds
with LIV
and no real pressure and no real depth of field, I think that matters.
Koepka, to me, I was trying to think of a comp in sports with him. You know who it is for me? It's John McEnroe, because he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He was kind of chippy with the media. And unfortunately for him, it just didn't work out in day number 4 on that Sunday. But he plays and talks with a little chip on his shoulder.
Danny, That's such a great observation. Brooks Koepka figures out a way to twist or turn whatever he needs to put that chip on his shoulder and to help him play with that edge. And that's what John McEnroe, now John McEnroe is aged, and he said that he deliberately did that because it was disruptive and it helped him with an edge. But you can tell, you're so right, and that's a great analogy. I love that.
So a couple of tough Masters appearances for Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. But let's start with McIlroy. He missed the cut again at the Masters. Remember, he missed the cut at the Players, too. So recently, when the stakes have been at the highest, he really hasn't come through.
He hasn't, Danny. And here's the other thing. His game is good.
Yeah.
His game is good. He walked into the Masters saying everything is in line. This tells you what a mental game this is. And there are ghosts and scars that Rory is dealing with from 2014. I mean,
That's right.
It's been a long time ago that are not healed.
And the thing is, it's very tough, obviously, to win a major or a Masters, but to go almost 10 years without winning a major, that's very rarely done.
No, and Danny, I was reading because Rory was my pick.
Yeah.
And then obviously we're down the road. But he said for him to win another major, it's almost going to be like he's winning his first all over again. He knows he can win. He's experienced that before. But to your point, it's been so long, and so few people do that in their careers that he's up against it, especially at Augusta.
You mentioned the great conditions in day one, and Tiger shoots a 74. Then eventually his body breaks down at the Masters with the undulations, the big hills of Augusta. I don't know about you, Jay, after watching, and I thought he might win another major, but after watching this weekend, I wonder if he can compete at a high level with any course that has hills, but certainly even a major. I just don't know if it's finally over.
This did not look good.
No.
And it breaks my heart. It really does. But Danny, he had a hard time putting any weight on that right foot. And it didn't help that the temperatures dipped down into the high 30s, low 40s, pouring down rain, all that stuff just making your muscles even more and more tight and constricted and restrictive. It was brutal. It was sad. It was sad to watch. However, he did gut it out. He did make the cut.
Right.
Tying the longest streak in the history of 23 years. Yeah, 23 years in a row. I mean, the guy doesn't know how to let go.
No, it's pretty amazing. I want to get into the LIV players coming up in our final segment, but coming up next, we'll visit with Adam Betz from Family Golf and Learning Center, and that means it's time for the tip of the cap.
Danny, thanks. The tip of the cap is brought to you by the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. We were just over there saying hello to Colin. And we appreciate the support. We were talking about this off air. The maintenance crew, the ground crew, the superintendents, the guys at Augusta, there's trees, 70, 80-foot pine trees falling down, and 2 hours later, it doesn't look like anything's happened. And you know, that's happening right now at our local clubs all around the country. We got guys working, men and women working long hours to get the golf course in shape so that you and I can roll out and just have a great time. So we're tipping our cap to those guys. They're long hours, countless and thankless hours and time and job that they do, and we really appreciate that, and also appreciate the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood for sponsoring the tip of the cap. 314-966-0303. You can send me an email, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. I'll introduce you to Colin. He'll get you hooked up. That's our tip.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That was On the Range. This is brought to you by Doherty Business Solutions. And up next, Adam Betz as we go to the front nine.
That was On the Range with Jay Delsing. For news on the latest golf equipment, tips, and to ask Jay a question, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. Coming up, it's the front nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
I love having Doherty Business Solutions as the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You already know that they're the #1 largest IT consulting firm and the largest software developer in the St. Louis region. You also know that there are over 2,500 Doherty teammates in 30 states and 3 countries around the world. But what you may not be aware of is what Doherty Business Solutions does right here in our own community. They were the sponsor for the first Advocate PGA event at Glen Echo this past September. Doherty Business Solutions was also a presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They have created Access Point, which builds diversity in the IT workforce. This is a game changer in our community. literally hundreds of mostly young African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 per year jobs right out of high school, and that training begins in high school. Daugherty Business Solutions believes talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. Ron Daugherty, our founder at Daugherty Business Solutions, is the chair of the 2023 Heart Ball, supporting the local American Heart Association Foundation. These are just a few examples of the positive things Daugherty Business Solutions is doing right now in our community.
The Legends of Golf return to St. Louis in 2023. You won't want to miss one of the strongest fields in golf. Ernie Els, Steve Stricker, Bernard Longer, John Daly, and many more when they compete for the 2023 Ascension Charity Classic title, September 5th through the 10th at historic Norwood Hills Country Club. All proceeds benefit area charities. Together, we were able to donate over $1 million to those most in need last year. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance, and you are listening to Golf with my friend Jay Delsing.
The official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show is the Dean Team. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They provide me, Pearlie, and our families with all of our cars. The reason we went with the Dean Team is because we could trust them. We knew at the Dean Team they were going to take care of us. And they have. They made the entire car buying experience so simple. It was more than just simply selling us a vehicle. The Dean Team made our car buying experience seamless and enjoyable throughout that entire process. The Dean Team has the complete car buying steps done before you head into their showroom. They're ready to answer all your questions and set your mind at ease when buying a vehicle. At the Dean Team, they offer new, pre-owned, and all the services included with your Dean Team purchase. When you're with the Dean Team, they become lifelong friends. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, located at Manchester Road in Kirkwood. The Dean Team.
This is the Front Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic, September 5th through the 10th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Find out more at AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on, and we are pleased to be joined by Adam Betz from Family Golf and Learning Center in Kirkwood. And as always, the Golf with Jay Delsing show presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Adam, thanks for hopping in studio. Great to see you.
Absolutely, guys. Great to be here.
So you're a busy man right now. Summer is here. Spring is here. The warm temperatures. You guys are busy.
Yeah, this is the best week of the year. You ask me. So we're all systems go down at Family Golf Learning Center, having a great time watching all these golfers get primed and ready for the season.
You know, Adam, one of the things that I think our listeners need to know is how inclusive your programs are down there. So you have junior golf, and we've had some of your guys on. We've had JR and Blake, and they're doing great and leading the area in some of their numbers. The range itself, the grasses, the balls. We talk about all this. Tell the listeners a little bit.
I mean, we connect all the dots and give all the resources a golfer might need to reach their goals and their potential. It doesn't matter if you're a golfer interested in trying the game or you're a competitive player looking to play in college or play at a higher competitive level. We connect the dots for all of them. You know, in my experience as a professional playing down in Florida and seeking out places to improve my own game, you know, I frequented a lot of really nice first-class facilities that had all of these resources for me to reach my potential. And as I was down there, I always in the back of my head thought, St. Louis doesn't have a place like this.
No doubt.
You know, I never thought I'd be the one doing it, but here we are today. And, you know, that's the whole goal of Family Golf, is just to connect the dots for any golfer or potential golfer.
Anybody that shows up will see how big the range is. Your driving range is absolutely huge, and a double-decker.
Yep, absolutely. Double-decker. We've got the mats on the top deck exposed. A lot of kids like to hit off that top deck, see the ball fly a little farther. The bottom deck is heated, and we got it cool during the hotter days as well. And then grass tees we just built last year on both sides of the double-decker. We'll open those soon. They're coming out of dormancy and starting to grow, so that's nice. The new short game area was super popular to start the season off we had it all open all winter long. So it's a 20,000 square foot green. It's huge. You've got zoysia surrounding it, bunkers, so you can practice there for a small fee. So,
and I love the hat you got on. You got some great merch down there too. The pro shop is fully staffed. And then fully serviced. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's quite the experience. You can come down and hang out with the family, play 9 holes in an hour and a half, and sit down and have a burger and a brat and out on the patio overlooking a practice hole. It's just it's just a fun environment for any and all golfers.
Adam, for those folks that don't really know what we're talking about, this was it's kind of down in the bottoms in Kirkwood,
Sure.
and what you guys have done, they'll pull up and they're going to think they've gone to the wrong spot.
Yeah, it's brand new. I mean, the new building is probably the biggest change, obviously. We tore down the old building that Sorcus Webby, built way back in the day. I think it started in 1992, and I'm the 5th owner. I grew up practicing there, so it's kind of got a soft spot for me because I took my first golf lesson there with Todd Meyer, and it's a home to me, just like a lot of golfers in town. So, it's taken a lot of changes, but that building is our pride and joy. We've got, like you said, that gym for golfers. We've got an indoor green to practice at, 3 simulators powered by TrackMan. Your golf shop with those sweet hats that you like so much, Jay.
I know.
And then we even have a restaurant
for us. Where
What's
is
up
it?
with that?
Where's the merch?
Yeah, I know. I should have brought you guys some hats. All right, next time.
Is it? I guess it's kind of emotional to an extent because it resonates with you that you grew up out there, and all of a sudden
Without
here
a
you
doubt.
are. You've got the junior program. You've redone the entire facility. I would imagine that's got to be emotional to an extent.
Man,
for you.
it is crazy. I'm living my passion. I'm living my dream, and I'm bringing golf to so many people. Golf is what gave me every opportunity in my life. It gave me an opportunity to go to school, gave me an opportunity to, create so many great relationships. And, this is me giving back to the game and trying to show any and all people in our area and region that golf is such a great game that can connect so many things in life. So,
And what's cool, Adam, is that we have kind of lagged. The St. Louis area has lagged in turning out really good players in the last few years.
I agree.
Your facility goes from top to bottom. We're talking short game. I love your tagline, if you want to get better at golf.
Yeah.
And it's really true because you can take every aspect of it. Just because it's wintertime, the scoring lab is a blast. I love that place in there.
Yeah, being able to practice all year round was one of our goals. We needed to make sure that St. Louis had that opportunity. I would come home from Florida. Like I said, when I was playing, I was down in Florida. I would come back and be here with family for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It was cold. And I'd go down there and hit balls, and the balls would, do the old hook slice, where it starts hooking and then it ends up slicing because there's no dimples on the golf ball. And you'd hit off of a mat where you see more rubber than turf. And, it just wasn't a quality practice session. And, so that was another thing that I knew St. Louis lacked is a good quality practice facility with good turf, good balls. You get to see how your ball's actually flying. So, we're making it as realistic and helpful for the golfer to, get the feedback they need to help improve their game.
Now, part of that, though, is having the proper yardage markers. So
Sure.
I know what I'm hitting, and it's truly supposed to go that amount of distance. And I know that's something you've worked on.
We've absolutely added 1 million targets. We've got different barrels and different things to aim at. We're actually working on even improving that more. So we replace these turf out mats a lot, right? So we have all these extra mats sitting around. So if anybody needs a mat, you let me know. I've got 1 million of them, but we are going to start laying those out on the greens. So we'll have kind of a synthetic green out there to aim at, which will be a nicer look. And you can kind of see if you've hit a quality shot, if it's landed on that turf. So yeah, we know how important distance control and having good solid targets and good solid feedback on your distances for sure is
I want to know
important.
if the McLaughlin kids have their own personal bay down there, because I know your kids were wearing it out.
I got to thank Adam for that. Adam,
we have to, we got to do like a weekly hours check to see if they're spending more time down there than I am, because it's got to be damn close.
They're out there nonstop. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Love having them. And they're both great players, beautiful golf swings. And it's always fun chumming it up with the kiddos.
Believe me, it's been fun for them. And they love it because in the winter, as you guys were just talking about, the heated bays, if you don't have a heated bay, That's pretty important.
It's a huge deal. And the fact is, and I knew this before I bought it, actually, that it faced south, and I think I knew it more because I practiced there a lot, but facing south, in the winter, the winds are coming from the north. Yeah. We just close those garage doors. You don't feel a gust of wind. I mean, it's calm as ever.
That's a huge deal, Adam. Even with heat, if that wind was blowing in your face, we wouldn't be able to hang.
When it's cold out and you see that the south winds are coming up, I'm like, this isn't going to be a busy day today. We're going to have some trouble getting people here. But
of all the things that you've done well and all of the problems that prior owners had, facing the range in that direction was by far the best thing they did.
They made some good decisions with that, for sure. Absolutely.
Are you putting on charity events? Because last year I hosted the John Jay charity event, and Albert, by the way, put it closest to the pen. Albert Pujols.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? You hit 700-plus home runs and put it close to the pen.
He's just good at whatever he does.
Yeah.
I know you're doing, though, some of that stuff, correct?
Yeah, we are. We have a very unique event space, and we're allowing anybody and everybody to come in and host their event. Office parties, birthday parties, you're non-for-profit, you want to have any sort of event, we can kind of customize it, and it doesn't even need to be a golf specific event. Now we do have that tee box right off of the terrace and the green that you can hit shots at and have a fun contest with your party, and that's what we did for John Jay. But we've done a lot of different things with a lot of different organizations and groups. So if anybody's interested in an event, come on by and we can talk to you.
You got food.
Yeah,
I mean,
got food.
People don't know.
We cater and do all that stuff too. So yeah,
you're catering now?
Well, like for the events we will.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you're doing
no takeout food, no Grubhub coming through. Grubhub's not rolling through.
We may never go home if we went there, man. We got to go home, you guys. Don't you have a home?
The food is really good. Patrick O'Neill does a great job in the bar and restaurant, and it's nice to have that.
We'll wrap it up, at least segment 1 here with Adam Betz, and again, he is the proprietor and owner of Family Golf and Learning Center in Kirkwood. We'll get into the junior programs because that is so important. But I know, generally speaking, your idea is if you just want to pick up a golf club, if you're a young kid or you're that 60-year-old that wants to, all of a sudden they retire and they say, I got time on my hand, I want to play some golf. You guys have levels for everyone to be taught the game of golf.
Yeah, every skill level, every age. Junior golf, it starts, at the fundamental level, and we kind of, graduate you up the ladder within our academy. And we also have adult clinics and classes that you can do as a group or individual. So, yeah, we have 10 instructors now. That's how busy we are with golf instruction and player development. And we've got a million different programs, and we even got playing programs out there where we have couples nights, and we have a lot of fun with the parent-child each month, and we have a ladies' league on Wednesday. So there's something for everybody out there.
Adam Betz from Family Golf and Learning Center is our guest. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions. Back with more in just a moment.
That was the Front Nine, presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. Coming up, it's the Back Nine and more of golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion. Powers Insurance and Risk Management combines 200 years of experience and cutting-edge products to deliver exceptional service, value, and clarity to their clients. Powers Insurance will deliver the highest quality property and casual insurance programs and strategic planning consultation services in the industry. Insurance can be overwhelming and confusing. It can be tough to understand. Powers Insurance simplifies it for you and your business. Powers Insurance and Risk Management will partner with you by providing ongoing assistance, consultation, and service that will help you control your insurance expenses and your workplace safety. Find out how Powers Insurance can help you. Visit powersinsurance.com. That's powersinsurance.com.
This is Paul Azinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Jay Delsing. Did you know that Marcone is the largest authorized appliance parts distributor in the world? That's right, the largest in the world. Did you know that Marcone is based right here in our backyard of St. Louis, Missouri? Well, that's pretty impressive. What's more impressive is the way that they give back to the St. Louis community and our region. CEO Jim Sowers has donated service dogs to the wounded servicemen and women of our armed forces. Suites at St. Louis Blues games have been donated and auctioned off, in which all proceeds were given to the Backstoppers. Then there was the Marcone Police and Firefighters viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic this past year. It was a huge success. So much so that it's being implemented on other tour stops around on the PGA Tour. To Jim Sowers and his incredible team at Marcone, we want to say thank you. Thank you, Marcone, a proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is the Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Back Nine is presented by Pro-Am Golf, located in Brentwood. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you.
Golf with Jay Delsing show presented by Doherty Business Solutions rolls on. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That is Adam Betz, the owner and proprietor of Family Golf and Learning Center in Kirkwood. I want to go back to the junior golf program because that is so important to start kids at a young age. And if you're a parent out there, you're trying to get your kid involved in golf, take it step by step. How does it work?
Absolutely. We start them at a skill level or an age. So we have two different age groups, young and old. Young and older, I guess I should say.
Yeah, make sure you say older.
On our first three levels. So our first level is fundamentals. If you're new to the game, you've never touched a club, you need to learn how to grip it, you need to learn the stance and the posture and all the basics. You're going to be in our fundamentals class. And then based off of skill and our teachers and instructors, they graduate you to the next level, which is the learn to play or level 2. And then you're advancing your learning, and then you go to now level 3, which we're excited to announce this, and we're going to be doing so shortly. So this is kind of the first unveil. We're going to have a class called On-Course Learning, which is we take all the kids out on the par 3. The par 3 golf course is perfect for learning.
Spectacular.
It's not hard. There's not, it's not super challenging. There's no bunkers. There's one place where you gotta hit it over water, but it's a great learning ground. And we just marked the golf course. I was actually on my hands and knees putting in the yardage plates yesterday morning, and
you sure about that?
Yeah, it looks
you were on the hands and knees.
I swear to God, man, you can see they're scabbing up, man. So put the boots to the ground yesterday morning, but now the golf course is fully marked, and the coolest part is that we have 25, 50, 75, 100 yards on every single hole. So we're going to start the kids at On-Course Learning at 25 yards, and we're going to make every hole a par 4. So they have to shoot 36 on 9 holes, and then they graduate back to 50, and then they graduate back to 75, and they go all the way back to the blue tees. And if they can make 4 on every hole, then they'll go to 25 yards and start as par 3s. So it's a very trackable, way for us and the parents to see that their kid's skill is developing. And, that's something that the parents can take the kids out and, hey, the kid's going to get excited and want to go try that 50 again. Hey, let's go out there tonight and play the course, So it's just a great way to learn. And, we are a driving range, but we're also a golf course, and we're trying to get people to play their best golf on the course. So we need them on the golf course. So we're excited to get the juniors out there this year.
Absolutely.
That's a phenomenal way to do it, Adam. The fact that you have done what you've done, taken an old place, 1,000% redo of everything, but provided the area with a place where you can go at any level. There's nothing like that in safe to say a 500-mile radius around St. Louis, and that expands up to Chicago and everything. I know there just is not in the Midwest.
You're absolutely right. I mean, like I was talking about earlier, there was a void in a quality practice facility, but there's a void in opportunity for families to expose their kids to golf. I mean, in our town particularly, if you're not a member at a golf club with a junior golf program, there's not very many options for you.
No.
And that's what we kind of fill that void. And I knew there was that void and that there was that need for families to be able to expose their kids to the game.
The name is so perfect. I mean, the name says a lot. I mean, it really does. And I think when you can take away some of that anxiety from the newbies, where forget it if you're 10 years old, you may not care. But if you're 30 years old, but say you're a female and you really want to play, to be able to go on the short course like that,
Sure.
it's a game changer.
100%. Yeah, it's an intimidating game for a lot of people that are just getting introduced to it, especially if you're an adult. Mostly ladies are very intimidated by it. We do a lot of ladies clinics. We do a lot of office-wide clinics where ladies come out and they come out with their coworkers and they learn how to play because they want to get into that company scramble. We have opportunities for ladies and kids to get into the game, and we love that we have an environment and an atmosphere that is unintimidating. We're encouraging and we're trying to be there for those that might be intimidated.
So you've got simulators there, but also you have the lab, and I think that's cool too. So if you're in the winter months, that's great, but if it's raining in the summer, you've got opportunities to go inside.
Yeah, we don't cancel junior golf. A lot of places will because they don't have an indoor option. So if it's raining, our junior golf isn't being canceled. We're going to go inside and hit some balls into the net, get the kids on the simulator and putt and chip around on the Scoring Labs indoor green. So you're absolutely right. It serves a purpose in the winter and it serves a purpose during the season also. So it's kind of a good thing that during the season it's not that busy because when we need to move the kiddos in there, we do.
That's awesome. Yeah. And also, I love it too. I've been in there so many times when I see office parties and they're kind of having a party, but also hitting a bunch of balls into the simulator. Those are fun. I mean, if anybody's not done that, that's a fun time.
Yeah, without a doubt. We do add the simulators and that onto a lot of the events that people do. They'll do contests and try to, if it's a fundraiser, they're going to try to raise funds doing a closest to the pin contest. Or we get creative with our events. It wasn't ever really a part of the vision of, hey, we're going to do events, but it's a great space for it. And there's been the demand for it. So we'll make it happen. We'll do whatever we can.
There's never a time when you're going to pull into the parking lot and you're not going to see a wild age range.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
You're going to see some 7-8-year-old guys and gals out there learning the game, swinging like their body doesn't hurt, which makes us all a little jealous. And then you always have a bunch of the older generation up there talking golf, having a sandwich, working on their game, talking about putting.
Mr. Zuniga hits his bucket of balls and has a cigar on the terrace every single day, and we just love seeing him every day. The best is the little kid where the clubs are falling out of the bag and they're dragging on the ground, and mom and dad are behind him trying to pick them out. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I think one of the great things you've done too is you've gotten some of the top teachers. I don't know how you did this. You must be paying well over there at Family Golf and Learning Center, but you got some of the top teachers though that have been renowned and have that reputation
without
for years.
A doubt. We're really lucky. Rob Zadorczyk heads our instructors as our director of golf and programming, and Rob's a former K-State coach, a very accomplished player and a very accomplished teacher. He taught some of the better players that came out of St. Louis in the past 10, 15 years, and he specialized in the development of highly competitive juniors.
He's a good player himself too, Adam, which makes a big difference.
There's nobody I've ever played with that hits it straighter than him.
Yeah.
It's a matter of if he gets it pin high. If he's hitting it pin high, he's making a lot of birdies.
Yeah.
But yeah, he heads our team of 10. We've got, as you said, Blake Charmatero, our director of golf. He heads our junior league golf, which is a fantastic league. It's one of the largest in the country. That starts in May. So if your kids are interested in junior league golf, go online and get him registered soon. He's just a phenomenal teacher as well. Good player. He and I played at Parkway South together here locally. We won state together in 2001, and so we've got a past. We used to practice down at Family Golf together, so it really is a family environment down there. I mean, we're all friends and we're all close and we're all wanting the best for all of our players. So JR, another great teacher.
Yep.
We've got Bob Gauss, who's a legend.
Bobby G.
Oh, he's a legend.
I played junior golf
great.
with Bobby G.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's told me some stories, man. You guys have had some battles.
We did, and he's been a legend in St. Louis, down in the south side of town.
Yeah, without a doubt. Always at Tower T, and when that was changing over, he just approached me and asked if he could teach. So it's worked out great. We've got Rick Ewing down there teaching, doing a great job with his students.
Rick was formerly at Old Morrison, and was a teaching pro over there.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a good guy, great teacher. We all have our strengths as teachers. I might teach the sequencing of the body while Rob's really going to hone in on the plane of the swing, and there's just strengths of every guy and gal that are teaching out there. And, that's the cool part is like we place you with the teacher that's going to best fit your needs. So having 10 teachers with different strengths is a really big selling point on why it's in your best interest to come take lessons at Family Golf.
So what's the best way to get a hold of you or a teacher or the website or just go out and hit? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, you can come by, and we'll fill out a questionnaire, which gives us a little bit of information to go off of. And then Rob Sidorczyk calls you and sets up that lesson. So you could do it online easily also on the website. You go under Learn, and then you can see Meet the Pros. There's also a lesson inquiry form, which that's that questionnaire. So
the name of the website?
Yeah, www.familygolfonline.com.
Familygolfonline.com.
That's it.
Adam, thanks so much for what you do for golf. One of my things as I get older, want to grow the game. It's so important to give back, and it's you're doing it, and you're just starting. So it's the future of this looks bright for the young families and the beginners as well as the expert levels.
Yeah, we'll very much appreciate that. We're excited to be a part of the community, and we're excited for all you do, and thanks for all your support, both of you guys, and thanks for having me.
You got it. That's Adam Betz, Family Golf and Learning Center. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions. We move to the 19th hole coming up.
This has been the Back Nine, presented by Pro-Am Golf. We'll make the turn into the clubhouse and head into the 19th hole. That's next on Golf with Jay Delsing.
I love having Doherty Business Solutions as the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You already know that they're the #1 largest IT consulting firm and the largest software developer in the St. Louis region. You also know that there are over 2,500 Doherty teammates in 30 states and 3 countries around the world. But what you may not be aware of is what Doherty Business Solutions does right here in our own community. They were the sponsor for the first Advocate PGA event at Glen Echo this past September. Doherty Business Solutions was also a presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They have created Access Point, which builds diversity in the IT workforce. This is a game changer in our community. Literally, hundreds of mostly young African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 per year jobs right out of high school, and that training begins in high school. Doherty Business Solutions believes talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. Ron Doherty, our founder at Doherty Business Solutions, is the chair of the 2023 Heart Ball, supporting the local American Heart Association Foundation. These are just a few examples of the positive things Doherty Business Solutions is doing right now in our community.
The Legends of Golf return to St. Louis in 2023. You won't want to miss one of the strongest fields in golf. Ernie Els, Steve Stricker, Bernard Longer, John Daly, and many more when they compete for the 2023 Ascension Charity Classic title, September 5th through the 10th at historic Norwood Hills Country Club. All proceeds benefit area charities. Together, we were able to donate over $1 million to those most in need last year. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion. This is Jay Delsing, and if you're like me, you're always looking for the best ways to improve your game. That means getting the best, most up-to-date equipment you can find in golf. You can find that equipment at Pro-Am Golf. Pro-Am Golf is located in Brentwood, and since Pro-Am Golf opened in 1975, they have been more than just selling golf equipment. Pro-Am Golf is dedicated to helping build your game inside and out. Pro-Am Golf can custom fit all your clubs specifically to your build. They offer private one-on-one lessons, and they carry golf gear for every part of your game. That means clubs, balls, shoes, apparel, accessories from all the major brands. I get asked all the time by golfers, where should I go get fitted for clubs? And I tell everyone to head to Pro-Am Golf. They're the best in town. And make sure you ask for CJ. That's Pro-Am Golf. Visit ProAmGolfUSA.com. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and let's head to the 19th hole.
The 19th hole on Golf with Jay Delsing. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Our thanks to Adam Betz. And this is brought to you by the Gateway section of the PGA.
You know, Danny, it's great to have Allie Wells and her team supporting the show. They've been with us all year. Just this great folks. They're growing the game. They're taking care of PGA Reach, which is, I know you're involved in that, and Ozzie Smith is the president, and they just do some great stuff in the community. It's awesome to have them involved with the show.
Our thanks to Adam Betz, and the takeaway I have with that is how many people he is helping to grow the game. I hear you say, grow the game, grow the game. Well, his facility certainly is doing that for all ages.
I love the stuff that he talked about, the different levels. I mean, that's a game changer, right? Because this is such an intimidating game, Danny, not only from a skill level, because you're not going to pick this up no matter how good an athlete you are. You're not going to pick this up and be very proficient at it at the beginning. But there's an intimidation factor about knowing the flow of the game, knowing whose turn it is, what's the etiquette and all those things, because that's a big part of the flow of the game. And when you can go down to Family Golf and Learning Centers and go to their short course and in a relaxed environment, learn that, big deal, buddy. That's a big deal.
Looking back at the Masters, we mentioned we were going to talk about this, but LIV players competing again at a major. Few takeaways for me. Number one, the guys missed the competition of a 4-day event. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And they missed the bright lights of the prestigious events that a Masters brings. I just thought they had their competitive juices kind of refueled again.
Oh, Danny, no question about it. So take a look at it. Let's do the top 10. You've got Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, and Patrick Reed in the top 10. That's wonderful. But they only had 5 players in the top 30. You know, and that means Cameron Smith. Where's he? Dustin Johnson. So Joaquin Niemann, I think, was my dark horse. He finished, I think, 17th or 18th, somewhere in there. And not a bad finish at all. But to your point, you can't flip that switch. There's that depth of the field, and it's something that we're watching maybe the greatest of all time, Tiger Woods, struggle with in some of his putting and just some of the finer points of the game that will get missed in the other direction.
I found it interesting. Greg Norman, who runs LIV, not invited to come out to Augusta. And the other thing, I don't know if you agree with me on this. I thought with all the media that was going to be around, I thought this could get nasty, and it really didn't. I thought the showing by LIV players, how they were in the media, it kind of calmed the waters a little bit between the two tours.
I think it did. And I mean, I can remember, you know, hell, I watched as many hours of that thing as I could. Too. And I can remember Gary Woodland giving, I think it was Brooks, a big hug. I mean, you know, these guys have known each other, Danny. When you start thinking about it, they've known each other. Let's say they're 30 years old. They've known each other for half of their life. They've been playing junior golf against one another in these national events. I mean, it's guys in my generation like the Brad Faxons, the Brandel Chamblees, the Fred Couples. I've been playing golf with those guys since I've been 15. Same for these guys, except probably even more so because there's more events. And so at the end of the day, take your money. Don't sue the tour.
Yeah.
Just do your thing and be happy.
So we had Curtis Strange on Beyond the Fairways, which, by the way, wherever you get your podcast, download it. We've had some great guests, Lee Trevino, David Faraday, Gary McCord. This past week, we had Curtis Strange, and he said that exactly what you were talking about. So, you know what? Take the money. That's fine. The other aspect that we got into in terms of golf with Curtis Strange was winning the U.S. Open and how important that was for him.
It's special because it's our national championship, and that's first and foremost. It's the biggest tournament that I or Jay could win. I think any of these elevated events with the top 50 players in the world would be pretty special because you are beating the best in the world. And whenever you win a tournament and it's a good field, there's a little bit on the play ride home. There's a little bit of extra satisfaction there. At first, beer goes down a little bit smoother. You know what I mean? They're all special. The tour is so good, and so many talented guys are all special. But to win the U.S. Open, anybody can qualify. It's nice, but it's special because it's our national championship, and it is one of the best fields of the year.
Curtis, when I was a little boy, there wasn't a day that didn't go along where I didn't have a putt to win our national open. It was always the top of the list for me.
You know, and me too, Jay. And the reason being for me is that, you know, it could have been very well the Masters, because when I was young, my dad was a club pro, and he had a little tiny black and white TV in the corner of the golf shop. And, you know, we always watch a few minutes of the Masters and a little bit of the U.S. Open because it wasn't on TV a whole lot back in the day. You know, it would be easy because you saw the Masters on TV. But my dad played in 6 U.S. Opens, and he was a good player. And so I always come back with the memories and the stories of seeing Trevino for the first time, or Trevino or Venturi in '64, that kind of stuff. And so I kind of went over to the U.S. Open as you did, and every afternoon late there'd be 4 balls out there, and, you know, for the U.S. Open. Absolutely the same story.
Curtis, is there a player, you mentioned McIlroy earlier and what he's done for the game and staying with the PGA Tour, being vocal about it. Is there a player now that you enjoy and you'll sit there and watch on a Saturday or a Sunday and say, yeah, I'm going to take time out of my schedule, I'm going to watch that current player?
Well, John Rahm is right there at the top of the list. You know, we interviewed him in Butler Cabin on Thursday after he shot a great first round. And I've been around him a lot, but to see him in a normal atmosphere inside and against a guy like Scott Van Pelt, who's a big man, big tall man, this guy, John Rahm, is a mountain of a man. He is got the biggest legs and the biggest back and shoulders. There's no wonder he hits it so far. But not only does he hit it far, the strength enables him to control things probably maybe a little easier, but then he swings so hard. That kind of goes out the window once in a while, but he's just such a big man. He'll be able to, his strength will carry him to a long career. He won't weaken like some others might with a lesser body. He's a thoughtful guy, and he's so intense. That's such an advantage for somebody who's so intense naturally. That doesn't affect his next shots once in a while, probably once in a while. Did me too, probably did Jay, but that's the nature of the game. But the intensity and the focus will carry him on to become really one of the greats of the game, I think. Scotty Scheffler, magician around the greens for a big man. Just love the way he plays. He really plays well. He hits a lot of fairways, a lot of greens, and has great hands around the greens. And he came back and had a great master. So there's others out there. There's a lot of young kids out there I like to watch. You know, as I sit here talking to you guys, I'm a fan of the game like everybody else in this world. I don't play much anymore. I only do 2 events for TV. So I'm back watching and want to learn, want to watch swings. And Jay and I have never seen a swing that we didn't dissect on tour. So we didn't recognize players by faces or hats, but by swings on tour. So it's still great fun for me and a joy to watch them.
Curtis, one of the things to your point about Rahm, I was blown away at the human that he is. He's thoughtful and intelligent. He's really managed to take care of the anger and when he was a young man, if he got off to a bad start, he could implode in the first 3 or 4 holes, and he's done just a great job with trying to overcome that.
Well, what helps that, as you know, is good play, and his play of the last year and a half has been phenomenal. But also, you know, you mature, you get to a point in the state of the game there's a lot of responsibility that he still gets upset with himself. And if he didn't, he wouldn't be the player he is if he tried to be somebody who wouldn't be. He wasn't. You know, everybody goes through that as a young kid. They expect so much out of themselves, and they get mad at themselves. And I'd much rather see somebody get aggravated after a bad shot than hang his head. If I ever saw somebody hang their head and feel sorry for themselves, they're not going to be any problem at all. You know, we're going to wax them, you know, today. It's just the way that it is. And it's a competitive sport. and it all is on your shoulders, solely on your shoulders. So there's a huge responsibility in preparing, playing, accepting good and bad.
So that part of the game hasn't changed. What are the parts of the game that you see that really stand out on how much it's changed from when you're winning back-to-back U.S. Opens to what you see now in 2023?
Well, the most obvious is the distance, but they still have to get the ball in the hole. And what I like to watch is their short games around the greens and the putting. I think they're so much better than we were. Conditions obviously a little bit better. In the 60-degree wedge certainly helped in the last 25 years. But they chip the ball so well, and they putt the ball so well. And the putting part of it is where they have improved because they work on it a whole lot more than we did. You know, I'd hit balls after every round for 30, 40, 50 minutes or an hour, and they go putt for 5 minutes. It's ass backwards. We should have putted for 30 or 40 minutes and hit balls for 5 minutes because that's where you score. If I had to do it all over again, Jay, I'd hit half as many balls and I'd putt the remaining part of the time. But that's not the sexy, fun part of the game. So, but that's where you score, and that's where they look like to me they're so good around the greens.
Curtis, I would have never tried to change my swing like I did and lower my hands and all this other stuff because I was so homemade and never had any lessons, and I would have just worked on my short game, like you said, figured out how to use the bounce of the wedge, in my first 2 years on tour instead of taking me 15 and all this other stupid stuff that I spent time on.
But we didn't know. And like I said, if knowing what I know now, I would have done that. But that's you don't know that. And we didn't take putting as a real science like our swings back in the day. Dave Peltz was the one that brought it to light years ago, the short game guru, engineer, scientist, smart guy. Now they have the machines at home. They have the TrackMan for putting. They have all the gadgets out there on the putting green. You saw this past week at the Masters. And that's all a good thing. I wasn't a gimmick guy with my swing too much. But on the putting green, I think it's a great thing to check your alignment every single day and to check your speed and to check your ability to read the green. Things like that, that's where I think they've taken a very, very important part of the game to the next level, unlike us.
Yeah, Curtis, and I don't know, I guess it's just because of Tiger and all the attention and all the money. You look back at a putting green back in our day, and you might have 3 or 4 people putting on it. You look at a tour event now, and it looks like families are camping out there.
I know. You're right, but it's just that was the next step, and I think the next step might be more mental because it is a game 80% mental. Really, when you think about it, you have so much time to think. But the guys have the sports psychologist. I think it's fantastic if somebody's telling you how damn good you are every time you turn around. Where does it go from here? You know what? They're just going to be bigger and better athletes. I'm waiting for the next guy, Jay, who's a little bit taller than you. Not a lot, but he's going to be about 6'10". His hand's going to be at the top of the roof, and he's going to have a great ability to play the game. And just think how far that ball is going to go. And it's not going to be equipment or ball. It's going to be his ability to swing the club much faster than most everybody else.
You mentioned television earlier. Curtis, did you enjoy that run? And you still do a little bit. And you're pretty blunt in your assessment. You're one of the great analysts the game has seen. Did you really enjoy that? Was that something that you looked at and said, yeah, this is something I really enjoy and I want to get better and better? And you did. Is it something, though, that you enjoyed?
Yes, I do. It's a team game over there in the compound. It's you get very close. You work together. You try to make each other look good. And I had great help initially in '97 with Mike Tirico, and worked 8 years with him. I learned when I went in the booth at 42 years old, it was a big decision. But I could play and do TV. That's why I did it. But I learned, and now it's a challenge to get better. And I'm still very average. You're very nice in your words, but I still try to get better. And the reason I'm not very good because my vocabulary is not as big as some, okay? So I kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the game. Jim Nance, I'm not. But I can tell you how to play the game and how to play the golf course and what I see from this player. I really, really enjoyed it. And then I really got to love it when I was 53 and went back to ESPN, and we had 7 or 8 tournaments a year, did the Open Championship, do early golf, Masters, PGA. It's a challenge to learn how to say something more concise and clear every day Timing is such a big thing in golf. Silence is the greatest sound in golf. Silence. Let's set it up and let it play. Set Jay Delsing up. Second shot 15 from 153, wind down to the right, and shut up and let him play. And that's the attitude I take. And so I really do enjoy it. The Masters kind of beats me up. We have such long hours. I'm not a morning person, okay? Anyway, I had a 7 a.m. Sports Center hit Sunday morning. I went, wow, how can I even function at that time? But anyway, it's good stuff. It's fun. And, you try to bring the game closer to the viewer.
So in doing that, and the Masters did show it, and other events have shown it, do you like the idea of being able to visit with a player in the middle of the round? Do you think that's a good thing for the sport?
I think what I just said, it brings the game closer. It brings the game closer to the viewer.
Yeah.
I think it's been wonderful if you get the right personality. And it's all done beforehand, so that when the guy does it, he's already agreed, and he's going to be on point. I would never do it, never, because I think it's disruptive a little bit. And Max Homa is that personality that loves to do it. He's done it, and he's fantastic at it. I was taken aback a little bit on Friday or Saturday when Rory McIlroy did it, Friday, I think, and on the 9th hole, and they were talking to him when he was pulling his club out of the bag. And then he talked to him as soon as he hit the shot. I get walking down the fairway, but not when you get close to your ball. Okay, thanks so much, Rory. Have a good day. But anyway, that's their call, and they do what they want to do, and it's pretty good because we always, in any sport, we want to just see the guy speak to the camera, and it's fun to hear what they have to say.
Curtis, one of the things that jumps out at me is the better athletes that are playing the game. To your point a few minutes ago about a taller guy, a stronger guy, we are getting athletes that are playing the game, and it's taking it to a different spot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to get offended by saying they're better athletes because, you and I played high school ball and some intramural stuff in college possibly, and I thought we had some really damn good athletes in our day. Some were better than others, put it that way. But, we all were good athletes. Now they truly are, and athletes are getting better. Their hand-eye coordination's better. Their training is better. Their body is bigger and stronger and faster and jumps higher. And it's the way it should be. But they really are. They have this ability to play the game with the strength and size. That's why I wonder what this new ball is going to do. It's, the game is the game. And bigger guys are going to hit a golf ball farther than a small guy. So trying to rein in a golf ball, it brings in more questions than it answers. But anyway, we want to go there. But yeah, they're good. They're big. I mean, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, 6'4". Hell, if you're not 6'3" or 6'4" anymore, I don't know if you can be a top 10 player in the world.
So that's Curtis Strange on Beyond the Fairways. And I found it interesting where he talked about the U.S. Open. Hell, if I wanted to play, I could try to qualify. It's not going to happen. But by winning the Open, it even meant a little bit more to him, an Open championship, even more so than a Masters.
Well, yeah, because you're an American. It's the red, white, and blue. You're our national champion. It wasn't that the Masters wasn't big, and he said that as well. But there's something about being American that you want to be the United States Open champion. You're the best golfer in the United States that week. That's wow.
It's amazing.
Crazy.
So what is your one takeaway as we wrap it up from the Masters that you said, man, this is the storyline for me?
I would say that at the end of the day, Danny, golf wins. We got all this disruption. We've got Liv. We've got, who's going to do what. We've got Greg Norman acting like a child half the time. Golf wins. Phil Mickelson put on a show. I loved it. Golf wins.
I loved it too. Golf wins. I like that. Our thanks to Adam Betz for stopping by in studio. And Jay Bird, always fun. We'll do it next week.
Let's do it right now. I'm ready. Let's keep talking.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And you always finish it with...
Hit 'em straight, St. Louis. I love having Doherty Business Solutions as the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You already know that they're the #1 largest IT consulting firm and the largest software developer in the St. Louis region. You also know that there are over 2,500 Darty teammates in 30 states and 3 countries around the world. But what you may not be aware of is what Darty Business Solutions does right here in our own community. They were the sponsor for the first Advocate PGA event at Glen Echo this past September. Darty Business Solutions was also a presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They have created Access Point, which builds diversity in the IT workforce. This is a game changer in our community. Literally, hundreds of mostly young African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 per year jobs right out of high school, and that training begins in high school. Darty Business Solutions believes talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. Ron Darty, our founder at Darty Business Solutions, is the chair of the 2023 Heart Ball, supporting the local American Heart Association Foundation. These are just a few examples of the positive things Darty Business Solutions is doing right now in our community.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com.